All right, guys, before we get into the video, I want to talk about my YouTube membership program. Every week, I'm offering Metagame Monday After Dark, where I am laying out the blueprint for how to attack the metagame in the coming week. It's the exact same stuff that I'm going to be applying to my decks. You have a front row seat to that. Then I'm also playing Eyes on the Prize, where Eureka22422 and I will be playing out the finals matchups from the previous week of the Legacy Challenges, and you get to see awesome situations like Super Shredder beating turn 3 Emrakul attack. Then, of course, I'm also recording my challenge runs. Sometimes they end up in a win. You have a challenge from round 1 all the way to the finals. And, of course, my 5-0 league runs. All of that stuff is exclusive to my YouTube members. So make the $5 investment, and I'll see you over there. Now enjoy the video. Hey, what's up, guys? Time to play some more Legacy, cast some blue spells, tempo out the opposition, and all of that jazz. Last week, I played Classic Izzet Delver, and today I'm back with the Boomerang Basics plus Storm Chasers Talent package. Those two cards go together like peanut butter and jelly, and at the same time, Boomerang Basics gives you some solid outs against, threatening fatties like Baragoi, opposing Murktides, and just can be a fine tempo card at times. Simply just press through lethal. Of course, we also have 4 Channelers for the full 8 1-drops. 3 Cutters and 2 Murktides round out the thread base. Worth noting is that Boomerang Basics, if you already have a talent in play, is an additional threat, so I feel okay, quote-unquote, cutting a threat from the deck. The flex slot, I consider the Preordain, so some people might be interested in running the 3rd Murktide there. I think the Preordain is good for keeping the engine running for Cutter and Talent. 4 Ponder, 4 Brainstorm, all the free counters, Wasteland Mana Base. You guys know the drill. Sewers to keep things moving. Sideboard-wise, lots of standard stuff. I talk about this all the time. I think 2 Consigns, 2 Hydros, 2 Negations, 2 Surgicals, and 3 Pyros are, mandatory for how I want to build my deck. And then in my last 4 sideboard slots, I have an Abrade for any creature matchup and Chalice of the Void. Rise of Progress to dome some pesky lands or big mana players. Then a couple of Pyroclasm against energy. Hopefully we are not killing off our own guys, so we would need to play Pyroclasm as our second spell so that we can survive with a 3/3 otter, etc. But yeah, let's see if we can succeed to doing exactly that in some games. All right, let's play some Magic here. I'm on the play with my Izzet Otters deck, and I have to mulligan because I don't have any mana. All right, we keep this, and I guess I should get rid of a land. That's probably the way to play it. I don't think keeping 3 lands here is going to be super beneficial, and I think it's better to take a gamble that I can kill some creatures with Bolt. Am I willing to ponder first? I guess if there's a Cutter, it's a good reason to ponder first. So let's get rid of a land, fetch Volcanic Island, cast Ponder. If there's a Cutter, I can slow roll my Bauble. If there's not, maybe I just fire the Bauble, because it's very important to get to a threat. Otherwise, this deck simply doesn't do anything. There's a Storm Chasers talent. Is that good enough? Because I need to draw 2 of these cards. What would be better? Cutter would be better. Chandler would be better. Murktide would be better. Maybe... Let's shuffle these. Volcanic Island, that's not good. Let's see what we're playing against. Chrome Mox. Wow, that's funny. That is funny. I've been playing against a lot of Storm recently. Yeah, this is obviously not going to go anywhere if my opponent has just a reasonable Storm draw. Petal and Chrome. Can we draw a creature? We can draw a creature. Okay. So next turn I can play a Murktide Regent. I bolt twice and play a 6/6. I think that's probably what I have to do. My list is actually not very good against Storm. Configuration isn't the best. Okay, so now I've seen Chrome Petal. Yeah, okay. Storm confirmed. Here's a Brainstorm. Opponent is not scared of Bowmasters. That makes a lot of sense. How do I win this game? Maybe it has to do with drawing Brainstorm. So I can kind of exchange my hand. Here's Mox Opal. The opponent also has the Chrome that I know about. The opponent is considering doing something here where they end up not firing. I think what's important to understand is that my opponent might have a kill in hand, but they're trying to see if they can beat Force of Will. Oh yeah, that's atrocious. So now I think I should bold my opponent because I need to get Murktide going. Wasteland. I mean, that's probably decent. So Murktide, Wasteland. So now the thing is, what I was trying to explain before is if I put on pressure, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, I beat my opponent faster, but the opponent is also incentivized to try and kill me, and I'm naked when it comes to disruption. So certainly not party time. All right, the opponent has 3 mana. Here's a Brainstorm. I don't know. My opponent is never going to let me hit them 3 times before going off. So the math here is somewhat clear. Imprinting on Chrome Mox before casting Brainstorm is also a little bit sus. What's my best draw? It's probably this, to be honest. Certainly not these. That's really bad. Let's Brainstorm again, I guess. Do I have lethal next turn? Put Bolt up there. Play Storm Chaser's Talent. My hand can't do anything else, so yeah, this is lethal next turn. So my opponent has to beat me now. Hexing Squelcher. Can't do anything about that. Okay, so my opponent has Dark Ritual Beseech. And then what? Is that game over? Gaia's Will recast stuff. Yeah, I think I'm dead here. So the opponent was kind of waiting until they could win with 1 backup, like beating the first force, right? My problem was I didn't even have the first force, but I also have to deal 20 to my opponent. So I was caught between a rock and a hard place, and the Storm player easily got me. Opal, Petal, Chrome, Petal. And Beseech for Tendrils. Classic Storm stuff here. Exactly what you want to do. And we're off to sideboarding. Let's just see the Tendrils for good measure. Okay. Fair enough, buddy. Storm is a tough one. I really need to put on pressure. Pyros are not terrible. Fighters are quite bad because I just want to draw 1 threat, basically. I think playing 10 is a good number. I am putting in Pyroblast as a 2-up against their draw 7s, and I'll hit on a Brainstorm, no problem. Trimming Boomerang Basics because it's only good with Storm Chaser's Talent. It does pitch to the 6 forces, so it's not like it's terrible. But trimming I think is good. Consign, I'll hit any artifact. Actually, 2 Hydros for Squelcher is probably not enough. I'll need these. So now what can I cut from my deck? I think I can only cut like a Wasteland. And what's the last cut? Maybe it's just Boomerang Basics. Maybe that card is just not too impressive. Yeah, I like my setup here. I have to put on pressure, otherwise I'm a dead guy. Looks like my opponent is disconnected, so let's see. Let's see when they're back. All right, this hand can play. Let's see. I don't know if the opponent's back. Let me pause the video. Guys, quick pause on the video here. I just want to make sure everybody knows what a Booksmart Baron membership will grant you. I have in-depth strategy articles. I have a free tournament series with thousands of treasure chests, including 4 qualifiers in the yearly finals. I have guys sharing their ups and downs with tournament results, achievements, etc. Of course, I have the challenge calls that goes on every weekend where players are spectating each other's, hopefully, grind towards greatness. I have a ton of resources when it comes to VIPs hanging out in the server, ready to inspire and answer questions. I have guest primers from the absolute best killers in the business on their respective favorite decks. Here are some testimonials you can pause the video and read. And of course, last but not least, I have my own personal deck guides of decks that I've either 5-0'd with, top-8'd challenges with. All of that is for the taking with a Booksmart Baron membership. Remember to use code ECO50 to save in your first month. And now, let's get back to the video. All right, let's see what we can do. I think bobbling here is the way to go. Do I like Storm Chaser's Talent? The answer is yes. Let me draw it. I think the Murktide is a little too slow here, so if I can set up the Talon, that would be cool. I like Hydroblast. It's Hexing Squelcher Security. It's also good against Gamble. It's good against Burning Wish. Let me surveil here. I'm actually looking for a land. I'll take a Force of Will though. I think that's too good to pass up. Storm Chaser's Talon, pass. So now I'm dead to Squelcher plus kill me. But I think we have to accept that. Do I Daze a Brainstorm? I think I would have done that, yeah. Opponent's developing red-white, which is scary. Blindside Diamond resolves. The opponent must be pretty curious about my hand here. I think this is a Daze scenario. My opponent pays, you know, they lose their hand. So let's Daze the Silence. Pretty excited to get a Silence out of the equation here. Play that. Pass. I draw Flooded Strand. How to play? I think tap land is the way to go. Still soft to the Goblin, but I really like having 2 mana available next turn. Hydro versus a random card. What if I have to force twice here? Then I'm drawing a Hydro. Yeah, that card is probably fine. Let's attack for 1. Don't squelch plus kill me, bro. That would be backbreaking. Anything else I can live with. Also, when I don't make my land drop on turn 2, the opponent knows I have a stacked hand when it comes to counters. Yeah, now the opponent has Metalcraft. Can't really do anything about that. I'm not going to force will a Chrome Box. Oh, no imprint. So that... Okay, here's a Silence. So now I have to give my opponent the silent treatment. No pun intended. Let's think. Arctide Regent looks to be the fastest clock here. So this is maybe where I just pitched the Boomerang basic. Let's pitch the Hydro. I think that's good. So basically this situation is I need my opponent to try and go for it after this card. Like, sack their hand, cast a draw 7. Discard your hand, buddy. So this gives the opponent how much mana? 1 from Opal. So either they're going to invest their whole hand or Dark Ritual into Beseech, I guess. I think no matter what, this ends up in a very good situation for me, and then I drop a 7/7 on my opponent. And then I have like Boomerang Basics plus Replay to deal a bunch of damage. There'll be a turn or two where the opponent can actually draw out of it. We've seen that before on the channel. It doesn't take much to kickstart the Storm deck again. Opponent puts... Ooh, Gamble. I thought it was Galvanic Relay for a second. All right, so the opponent's last card is Beseech Demir. So... Oh, okay. So the opponent wants to Burning Wish for Beseech Demir, but since they have kind of a worthless... So I guess if they go for Tendrils here... they doom me for 14. I'm gonna accept that. So I'm actually just gonna eat an additional artifact here, which then puts my opponent out of Metalcraft range. Yeah, this one I'm gonna counter. So counter. Pitch Boomerang Basics, and now the opponent's down to 2 mana, and they've had enough here. Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit lucky there. On the draw, especially, I like Cutting Wastelands. Single Boomerang Basics in the deck is a little bit funny, but it is a blue card. All right, we can try and submit the same again. The dream scenario is having double force, double blue card, because once they cast a silence, they kind of have to go for it. And then if you eat like the LED plus the rest, or you eat Dark Ritual plus Besiege plus Sacrificed Artifact, that's when you're really cooking. The key of that game is that the Otter is kind of making your opponent interested in trying to win the game, where if you don't have any threat, you don't have that, let's say, power over them, right? All right, let's keep this hand and hope that the... Well, first of all, we're not dying turn 1. Second of all, that, you know, the days can do something. Interesting. Can we draw Force Will? We cannot. I think I cannot play Scared here. I need to just play a creature and hope for the best. Also, this Opal is not on. Yep. Play Chandler. My opponent kills me. It is what it is. Without something in play, the opponent could just play Draw Go, so... I think this is how we play. Secretly rooting for some Squelcher Pass situation. I wonder why the opponent played out the artifacts. Okay, they milled the other Surveil land. Sometimes playing out the artifacts, that's awesome against, you know, trying to pay for days or getting under Chalice situation. But here, I think it could just also be my opponent trying to scare me, right? If they represent strength, then maybe I make a bad play. Brainstorm Pass here. Okay. Let's see if I draw the land directly. Well, I should have been more specific. Dang, this is a tough one. Let's cast Brainstorm, see what happens. I want this card, and I'm gonna draw some more. Yeah, this is a little bit bad. Because I only have Force and Negation. I guess the days, but let's see about that. So I already have instant and land, and I'm cracking Bauble, so I will need to put an enchantment or a sorcery into my graveyard. Or both. Is that what I want to do? If I put Talent and Boomerang Basics into the graveyard, do like that, then Bauble one away, then Surveil the other one away. Maybe these other cards are just better. So Channeler. Let's see what the opponent's rocking with. Mill the next card. And then I'm going to draw random on the opponent's turn. So the opponent's not under huge pressure here, but they also know that if they keep passing, things can get a little bit tricky. So we know they don't have a Surveil to fetch here, which is good for me. Maybe they go Plateau. Yep, there it is. I'm going to draw the card. Days? Who knows? Who knows? So if my opponent casts the Silence, what am I pitching? So now it's a problem if the opponent's way to combo here is to draw 7. Ah, I turned on the Opal. Dang. Okay, I should have thought about that. I didn't think about that. Ooh, that could be crucial. Let's see. I should force with what? I should force with Murktide Regent. Let's see if my opponent can cook me here. Mill land. Silence got countered. Oh. Yeah, I think I have to let this happen. Is this my opponent trying to sculpt once more? Should I have double dazed the Lion's Eye? They pay with the land. They cannot pay with this, so it gets dazed. No Metalcraft. Yeah. I think it's very possible I should have done that. The opponent has 3 cards. This is a card I should daze. Because they can't pay here. Yep. Get that out of here. Now, do you have the draw 7? That's kind of the question. They do. Okay. Magic is hard. This, I mean, my opponent's going to be casting that draw 7, but I think I have to do this. And now I have to play as if they don't have the draw 7 and leave that card on top. They didn't have the draw 7. What the hell? And now I should play like this and just make them have it. Wait a minute. Is their last card just Beseech the Mirror? Oh, just gamble. Wow, that's crazy good for me. Let's think about this. What if they... Don't they just go all... But maybe it's just better to have negation, because that counters everything. Yeah, that's better. Counter target spell if it's red. We can't have that. Really, really cool game here. Well, do I believe that Speeding up the clock here is useful. I'm gonna say yes. Let's see the last card, buddy. The last card is not relevant. If they had Silence, they would have cast it. If they had Goblin, they would have cast it. If they have the draw 7, they should fire now. I'm not sure what they're waiting for. Maybe it's just Beseech the Mirror. All right. Let's play Storm Chaser. Lightning Bolt. Attack my opponent to 9. Next turn. 6. Okay. Can put them to 1. Yeah. I think this is good enough. Because I either use my negation or I have lethal. If I use negation, you know, I stop my opponent from winning, and they're in top deck mode. If I get to keep it, I beat my opponent. Pretty cool game. Pretty cool game. Wonder, my read is, since my opponent cast Dark Ritual at this point, let my opponent's last card is Beseech the Mirror. Now I'm going to try and beat my opponent by casting Brainstorm. This is not a blue card. These cards are blue, so guess put back Talent and that card. Bolt the opponent and try and deal 9. Oof, that was crazy. I thought I was in big trouble here, but I was able to mix and match some powerful dazes. The Hydro came up clutch. And yeah, deal 20 damage before they recover. Certainly a strategy. All right, cool one to start with. Let's keep it rolling. All right, round 2. I'm on the draw here with my Izzet deck. That's not what we want to do. We want to be on the play. That's how we roll. Turn 1 Tameo. That's funny. All right. Let's develop a surveil land. I'm actually going to take the force because there might be some fireworks over the cutter, and I think that's my only way to win this game. Triple days on the draw here is absolutely atrocious. Couldn't be worse, timing-wise. Go Masters is a problem. Flip Tameo is a problem. Yeah, this is a can of worms when it comes to problems. Please pass, opponent. Yeah. Yeah. I see you, buddy. So if my opponent thought seizes me, or please don't. Okay. At least I don't get thought seized. So now I'm already in trouble against the Tameo. Here's Cutter. I'll force pitch a daze if necessary. If I get, yeah, Snapcaster. Okay, that's a cool card. We all like that card. I guess my opponent is not a daze deck. My opponent is probably not a daze deck. Could be a, I don't know, Grixis Wizards maybe. So I'll have to start pressuring the Tameo very soon. Secretly hoping my opponent taps out for something like Flame of Anor. Okay, basic island. Am I getting back to basic, or what's the deal here? I don't think the opponent should worry about Wasteland in this spot. Getting the Cutter in play is pretty sweet. Because now, you know, ponder into whatever is going to trigger it, and then I can start working on the Tameo. Okay, Grix is confirmed. So the opponent could have Orcish Bowmasters, which is great. For the opponent, that is. So that's why I'm going to lead on Ponder with this draw. If the opponent has Bowmasters, I feel like they pounce now. Oh. They didn't. Interesting. This bauble looks pretty juicy. Because it triggers Cutter right away. And then I have Brainstorm Daze for my opponent's turn to also trigger Cutter there. The opponent's trying to fight with... if the opponent's trying to fight with spot removal, I mean, that's annoying, but what are you going to do? The opponent has a Brainstorm on top. That's cool. Even just getting 1 damage in here is fine, but I expect this to get fatal pushed. I actually don't think my opponent has Bowmasters with the way they're playing. I have a delayed draw. Trying to get in for 1 here. Let's see what my opponent thinks about it. There's also the... oh, never mind. Shieldred's Edict. Sacrifice a token. If I double daze here, I get in for more damage. Let's do this. Resolve this card. And then maybe upkeep Brainstorm? This is a little bit tricky, I think. Let's see if there's the red mana here. There's no red mana, so just blue-black. Blue-black control. That's a cool one. So now, let me draw from that card first. Bolt is a good one. Bolt is a very good one. Let me cast this now, because if they actually have Bowmasters, I can double daze it when they only have 3 mana. This looks good. I don't think I should put back my best card. My best card is Channeler. And these other cards are instants. Okay, that was a little bit of a puzzle for everyone here. Now remember, I've already cast 1 spell, so I'm getting a monk here no matter what. When I lightning bolt the Tameo. I think that's how you play this. And then on my next turn, I maybe have to daze my own Channeler to trigger the Cutter. Which is not perfect, but I think it's okay. The dream scenario is dazing something like a Baragorth. I already pitched a daze. The opponent could either use that info to say, hey, I think you got a second one, or, well, you have a second one, you do, and that's just too bad. I'm still somewhat rooting for a daze target. Huh. I guess that is all the more likely now. The opponent wants to pass, get through the night. Totally get it. End step. Bolt onto the Tameo, which will give me the monk regardless. It's not often you can maneuver with Cutter on the opponent's turn, so I'm pretty happy about this. Let's equip. Let's try and resolve this. And now if the opponent has a removal spell, I feel like they should do it now so they don't help me on my turn. Yep, that's exactly how you should play. Well, double dazing that, does that make any sense? Killing that. Then on my turn, I go Chandler, daze my own spell. Yeah, okay. Fair enough, opponent. Bolt resolves. Let's play that card. Let's Bolt priority. Really hope this works. It doesn't work. Magic Online. I'm holding the button over here. Magic Online, Magic Online. I was trying to hold my button here. I've actually had trouble with this before. It's not ideal. Let me put it this way. So now, no bunk here. That's so bad. And now I will try to double daze my way to a new monk at some point. I'm trying to remember what my next card is, and I think it's just a land. All right, pass. Yeah, that's so bad. So I could have had a second one there. Equipped. Just more bodies on the table. I actually think the Tamio still lives there, but it's annoying. Well, is this where I just cash in a monk? I'm actually okay doing that. I'm even clearing a bad volcanic. Okay. So the opponent pays, and I'll do it again. Yeah, this is a way to win the game at least. Because if I can find something that change spells here, cantrip, that would be insane. Come on, baby. Let's equip over there. I think that's totally fine. That card must be better than a random card. Well, let's think about that. Right now I have 2 plus... Okay, so that is enough to kill the Tamio. Yeah, okay. Let's see if the opponent pays here. The opponent pays. They now see a hand with nothing. I play a spell. I surveil. And then if I have a good card, I play Volcanic. If I have a bad card, I play Thundering Falls. Okay. So I get rid of the Tamio here unless my opponent has a Snuff out. If they have Snuff out, they should kill now. Can't let me untap here. Okay. The opponent's down to 1 card. That card could be Murktide Regent or Barragoyf and what have you. Ooh, they even kept the card on top. That's scary. All right. Storm Chaser's Talent it is. Let's see. Cantrip would be insane here. Force of Will, not close to insane. Here's a creature that can maybe put in work with cantrips, etc. Yeah, I'm actually not gonna take the bauble. All right. After a lot of fighting and bad clicking, etc., Tamio down. And I guess don't fare away from Murktide me, bro. Secretly rooting for something like Kaito. I think Bowmasters is beatable. Out of the cards my opponent would keep. That's a Murktide if I ever saw one. So now I need a good draw. Here's an 8/8. Okay. So if I have any... so if I play that and equip it, at least I'm dealing some damage. I think that's my only way to win this game, is to go Channeler, equip, get in for, I don't know, 7? Whatever, however much it is. Just 5? Okay. still think that's better than... I mean, when Chandler's a must attack, I'm playing with house money, right? That Tameo ate up so much damage. That game, I was not trying to deal 20. I was trying to deal, I don't know, 35 or something, maybe 30. So blue-black basic control deck, because they showed Snapcaster. So I guess this is like a back-to-basics deck. That would be a little bit annoying, so maybe I should fetch my basic island against this player. Yeah, no attack here. Makes a lot of sense. That draw is incredible. I'm basically trying to fade Orcish Bowmasters here. Or Sewell would also be annoying. Into Lightning Bolt. I mean, don't mind if I do. Yeah. Lightning Bolt. And the opponent now needs some stuff. Otherwise, we're going to game 2. Wow, that was incredible. Despite reaching the point where you have to suicide your Chandlers, that was really cool for me. I think the way to sideboard here is minus all the forces plus these cards. No red cards shown in my opponent's deck, but no, maybe with 2 islands and a swamp, main deck edict. Maybe they're not a red deck. But we'll learn about that. 4 days is a lot, but also the wastelands might be bad. In general, this deck is not good against basic land control deck. You have to be a little bit lucky. Counting to 20 was not, that was not quite it. Counting to 30 something was enough. The Merc's head was slightly late there. Even just the whole double days, get a monk, they pay, they lose 2 from Thoughtseize. That was clutch. Lots of small things needed to go right there for me to get over the finish line. You really win and lose close games with this deck. I guess the Boomerang basics are decent. I'm a little bit worried about Bowmasters, but not enough to bring in like Pyroclasm, right? That would be insane. I'm actually down to try a single copy. Okay, single Pyroclasm over a days. Let's see how that works. Because this deck is a 0 Unholy Heat deck. Just want to braid to aid the bolts. Well, let's see. I would guess my opponent is a Bowmaster Kaito deck. Alright, this is cool. I have my Storm Chaser. Turn 1 Tameo. What a card. I feel like I should just kill it. I don't think I should be playing, you know, funny business around here. Let's kill that card off. And then next turn I can go Talent, cast basics on it, Daze Bowmasters if necessary. Pass the turn, buddy. Okay, this is good as well. So this is the second time I've seen a Bloodstained Mire in the matchup, which can just be, you know, random black fetch land. The opponent shuffled there, by the way. I'll try and keep that in mind. Could be relevant. So let's think. If my opponent has a Pyroblast and they have to fetch like a Volcanic or whatever, I can daze it for them to kill the land. I think that's decent. And if they don't pounce, we can just go with a regular scheduled program of Boomerang Basics, my enchantment. So I think this is where I find the basic island because of the opponent's deck. Let's see if my opponent is interested in me having another Otter. Maybe they don't have a choice. It works. Let's pass. I'm not going to daze a push. Barragoyf is the big enemy now that I've extended my Boomerang Basics. They don't fetch. after shuffling Ponder. So this tells me they're landlight. And they worry about Wasteland. Brainstorm is a good way to fix those problems. So what's my play here if my opponent passes? Replay the talent, pass Brainstorm, daze a potential Bowmaster, do a lot of stuff pre-combat. That's a pretty big thing when you're playing with Prowess cards. You need to do stuff pre-combat and understand that any exchange there equals damage. Okay, the opponent's not in trouble anymore mana-wise. Okay, so we are in that exact situation. Dragon Rage Channeler. That's also a pretty cool card to, you know, intensify things. Let's lay out that card. Chandler. I guess let's cast Brainstorm first. Let's see if we can grow the otter, or it's time for the opponent. Land I don't need. Brainstorm. Okay, another boomerang basics. Not bad, not bad. So these wastelands are kind of bad. So now I can go talent, mill one of them, and then if my opponent casts something into a daze, I can mill the other. Alternatively, I can hold up a braid on my upkeep to mill it that way. Here's the otter trying to get in there for 3. Last turn, technically, the opponent could have slammed Murktide. Now we're also pretty good against Murktide with the boomerang basics. If the opponent Bowmasters end of turn, which would be surprising, I'm dazing with Volcanic to mitigate. Oh, it is Grixis. Perfect. Here's Lightning Bolts. Onto that card? Why is that? Why is that? I'm trying to think when the otter is better than Chandler. Okay. Let's see. Can't really come up with the answer to that right now, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if this is surveilling or pushing. This could also just be my opponent trying to remove. Nope, never mind. Okay, so basic land Grixis control. We don't mind cards like Baragoyf and Murktide, actually. Is this? No, this is not Toxic Deluge. That makes no sense. Hooligan's Command, maybe. Okay, here's Murktide Regent. It's annoying that I have to draw that Wasteland. I can't fire in a braid on my upkeep. I think that's unreasonable. That would be 2 mana to no, that doesn't work. Let's try and bounce the Murktide. Land, get it out of here. Okay, that worked. So now I think the way to play is do this onto the talent and try and really deal more damage, build more fat on the board. So that card gives me Delirium. It's also one more Prowess, but I think it's better for me to draw a fresh card. That fresh card was Murktide. So let's play that card. Do I want to draw that next turn? That is a spell. Yeah, I don't think I can say no to that spell. So now let's try and attack for 7 and see if there's any method to the madness of letting me have a Chandler instead of an Otter, unless you're just expecting me to cast 3 spells. But even so, I'm fixing the top of my deck with Chandler. The opponent is in big trouble here because these boys are a lot of damage, because I can cast Braid, I can cast Talent, I can cast Daze. That's a lot of spells. Here's a dual land exposed. Here's Call Against Command. No, looks like Toxic Deluge to me. For 3. Trying to remember my top card. My top card is another Talent. And then I go Talent plus Murktide. The opponent's at 4. Talent plus Murktide I think is decent. Pretty cool. This card, Murktide, getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Wasteland killing Underground Sea. Alright, opponent has Murktide Regen 2 unknowns. They are dead to Bolt. Which well, almost, I guess. A Braid, really not the perfect card here, but maybe it can get me over the finish line. If I draw another spell, then I can make the Otter into a 4/4. Toxic Deluge. Yeah, that card was on my radar, but there was just a few turns where they didn't cast it. I couldn't really keep worrying about it. Also, I had a pretty solid backup here. Baleful Strix. So that's a nightmare card, but at least a Braid can kill an artifact or kill a creature. The opponent has Murktide, 2 more cards. So they would need Hydroblast to stay alive here, I think. Guess Spell Pierce is a magic card. Let's play like this. Let's destroy target artifact. If they have Hydroblast, I just attack with the Otter. If they have Bowmaster, I can daze it to grow my creature out of Bowmaster size. This is now too late. Alright, let's attack and see what the opponent's got here. What can kill the Murktide? Pyroblast. Petty Theft. Petty Theft. That's a solid one. So now I can replay it. How big is it then? Let's see. I can replay it as a 5/5, and my opponent can also play a 5/5. So maybe that's the move. Did I play land this turn? I think I did. Yeah, I did play a land, so I can't... Oh, I can... Oh, of course, I can daze with a tap land. If I daze here, I get in for 3. My opponent's at 1. Then I play a 5/5. Then my opponent plays a 5/5. And maybe, just maybe, I have a lethal next turn. So, daze that card for fun. They pay any day of the week. That card is back in hand. They're at 1. 1 is important here because now the otter is lethal no matter what. Fetch Volcanic Island. Murktide Regent. Pass. The opponent has Murktide and 1 unknown in hand. All right. The opponent surrenders, and that puts us at 2-0. Pretty cool games. Very tight margins. Yeah, let's try and win some more. All right, let's play a more legacy tempo here. Oh, the sand is cool. So let's see. Turn 1, Chandler, Bobble. Turn 2, Talon, probably. Just trying to be proactive here and put pressure on the opponent. That's cool. Chandler, Bobble. The opponent's on a single mulligan, by the way. I think Wasteland is too speculative here. Bobble, and we're playing against Energy. Okay, that's a cool matchup. So depending on which 1-drop my opponent runs out here. Oh wow, interesting. So my opponent has a single plateau hand that starts with a 2-drop. I mean, oh, that's fair. And I get to Delirium here. I'm pretty sure I can. So let me go Island, Brainstorm before things get complicated. Daze is actually huge here. Instant land artifact. Daze is huge here. That's kind of like a time walk. So here's Boomerang Basics. Maybe I should just mill the Murktide. So what I do here is I put back... I guess I put back Talent. Nope, not Talent. I put back Bolt Murktide. Then I play Talon, mill the Murktide. Then I have instant land artifact creature. I think that's how I play. Question is Murktide Regent better than Wasteland? Power is the Chandler, which is pretty darn good. Okay. Put back Bolt, put back Regent. I think that's fine. Play Talent, mill over the Murktide. And then my opponent's going to play Voice of Victory, which I will probably daze. Let's wait. Let's wait and see. Ooh, they have a sketchy mana base here against Izzet. Raptor. Okay, I'll daze that card. Yep. Daze. So I should have thought about this, right? I should have just put a land here and not think about Thoughtseize. Yeah, that was not smart. Oh well. So now I can either Wasteland or develop another threat. What's the most important here? Both lines frequently leave my opponent in the dirt. I'll say that much. Let's go Boomerang Basics first, see what happens. That's another one. Yeah, I think that card is good right now, so I should play that attack for 6. The opponent has some kind of play. Yeah, the main thing is I keep putting creatures into play, and I can keep the engine running, so to speak. That's pretty cool. Attack for 6, I have the upkeep stop, so I can bolt if I need to. The opponent's mana base is hurting. I feel like they have to get a little bit lucky with a raptor to stay in this game. Let's see what this is. The voice, sure, buddy. So now if I bolt that on upkeep, I think it's impossible to lose. Oh, I think I just missed lethal, actually. I just had lethal regardless. Never mind. I just cast the boomerang. Yeah. Okay. Well, the energy deck had a bad draw, and we had a insane draw, so we're the best. I like these. I don't like Porcewell in any capacity. To be honest, I don't love Days either. Now, the question is Consigned to Memory better than Days? Probably not. And if they are, we're looking at like a 2-1 split or something. Should I try the 2-1 split on the draw and then go back to 3-0 on the play? I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Ooh, Pyroclasm opener. That's cool. So Pyroclasm sweeps a lot of things, but it doesn't do anything against Guide of Souls counters. It doesn't do anything against Voice of Victory. So let's see. Well, how about wasting my opponent? I need to understand how to play with Pyroclasm and my own creatures, because Storm Chaser's talent, developing that card is not necessarily great. Is my opponent ever playing that land turn 1 if they have another one? I'll try and stop my opponent from playing the game, but it is a little counterproductive with having Pyroclasm. So I'll say that. Okay. So this is gonna do what exactly? The opponent's gonna gain 1, then gain 1 more, I think. Are they gonna draw here? No? What was the point? I don't know. Okay. Let's play Thundering Falls here. Oh, actually, like a land here. Let's get rid of a sorcery. That's kind of clunky. Okay, so they could have played Caracas, maybe. But they played Canyon. I think they just drew Caracas. Rooting hard for the other one, not this clown. I think the way to play now is to go Storm Chaser and Bolt. Lightning Bolt. Storm Chaser. Maybe that's not it. Maybe it's just Ponder. Yep, these are not good. And that card is fine. That kind of secures the Pyroclasm. I'm trying to get off a good Pyroclasm here. But it's also getting more and more dangerous by the minute, especially now. Okay, so please find something like a... Ah, dang. Okay. I actually think I'm gonna keep stalling on the Pyroclasm. I think I can take 1 more. Hydro. Okay. So now I go Bolt the Voice, take a hit, hold up against something like Bombardment, Brainstorm end of turn if necessary, and then it's time to go. A Johnny, please. That card is allowed. And now I'm gonna Pyroclast him. Sure, I'm at a relatively low life total, but so now 5. Yeah, the opponent's 1 off. That's all goody. Then I'm gonna cast a Brainstorm, try and stabilize with Pyroclasm, and then try and win. It's a little bit sketchy. So it looks like I can Pyroclasm, play Talent. And then I should kind of bobble my way through, I think. Yep. I could also Wasteland so my opponent doesn't have red post Pyroclasm. How does that sound? No, let's try and get a creature on board. So, Pyroclasm. The opponent can get a mana, but they don't bother. So no, let's go Talent. Use Bobble to power through the Brainstorm pile. Draw. They draw a bad land there. Let's see what they can do with the Quarry. I don't know if it's even a bad land. It's a, you know, it's a land. It's not bad. They're gonna bring back what? Pride? Think so? Yeah, okay. And it's a 4/4. I even forgot about that. Yeah, that changes a lot. I don't know, for some reason I thought it wasn't a 4/4. That's funny. Yeah, I certainly bricked on that. The good news is the bounce spell is in my deck. So let's try and find it. Another Ponder, but some bad cards here. Let me try and shuffle those. Desperately trying to get to the bounce spell. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, I messed up big time here because this was like an onboard thing, right? So I should have wastelanded. Funnily enough, my opponent drew the second, but I should have played better. There's no doubt about that. Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be putting back those two. Am I gonna play out the cutter? I think I should. Because I need to draw an answer for the Pride. And attack. 4/4 first strike. Dang. Yeah, that was brutal. I wish I knew what this card did. In my brain, this was just returning a 1/1, but it was returning a 4/4, right? Yep. I'm gonna go to 5 here. And then Static Prison. That makes a lot of sense with the opponent bricking on land but not playing more creatures out. That makes a lot of sense. The opponent's on 2 energy. Here's another 1/1. Yeah, I'm in big trouble here. Blooded Strand. Blooded Strand allows me to get back something from the graveyard. So I guess in theory, I have some time here. Let's see. Level 2, bring back Ponder, I guess. Cast it. Yeah. Murktide is a card. Pass, looking to chum block here to stay alive. Oh boy. I feel like I should have won this game. I wish I thought about the quarry. That card is potentially brutal. Chum block, go to 3. I'm going to play 2 creatures. I'm going to do this as a sorcery. When I get to 1/1, that's a creature. This is going to be very, very iffy. I think my opponent's last card is Caracas with the way they're playing, or it could be a Pyroblast. Or it could be a Pyroblast. Sure. Second main. Play that. Play Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, I am leaving a sorcery. Perfect. Here's Murk. Could also be another prison. Static prison. Can't beat that. It can't even beat a creature, I think. Wow. Yeah. Gain 8 life. Let's see if they pay for this. You pay. Yeah, unfortunately, this smells like a game 3. I'm not sure I'm supposed to lose a game where I kill everything with Pyroclasm. The opponent does not want to attack with that. So do I want to, you know... Yeah. Take 6. Yeah, I'll take the damage here reluctantly, but... Yeah, this is getting a little bit out of hand. Yeah, I get it. So now what do I even need to hit? I think the opponent has a million 1/1s here. I guess I need to hit Pyroclasm. So then I fire Hydro into the dirt, then Pyroclasm. Never mind. Okay. We lost despite having a good Pyroclasm. I don't think that was not in the script, but well played by the opponent, and it shows a lot of resilience out of the opponent's deck. So can't really say much about that. Third Days is back in. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Yeah, I wish I thought about that quarry. That was just my bad. Returning it as a 4/4 is huge against my deck, because now even if I draw Bolt, it's off, right? Also, if I actually think about it, I might keep the Boomerang basics, so plenty of better lines to find for a better player. All right, I think I should go Chandler, because this order pays me off from casting, Talon second, where the other order doesn't. So now if I think Chandler's going to die, then, maybe I can consider something else. Okay. What about play Talent, play Bolt? That's probably fine. I really like getting aggressive here. Talent. Well, I think it's time to mill a creature. Because this actually gives me a shot at Delirium. Did we get it? We didn't get it. Okay, let's mill that as well. That card dies. Attack. And then I can hopefully attack for a bunch next turn. The opponent keeps taking damage here. Here's Raptor. Raptor's a good play because it allows the opponent to find, you know, just a 2-for-1, right? Voice of Victory. That's cool. Let's play Brainstorm first. I'm gonna get to Delirium here. Cutter. That card seems pretty juicy to me, but maybe this is about the creatures in play. If I mill Artifact here, I have all my types. Yeah, I'm gonna mill it to ensure the damage, but Lord knows this could backfire. Let's get rid of these 2 lands. Wasteland, is that juicy? Maybe I should get rid of these 2, Volcanic and Thundering Falls. Then I really want to attack for 7 this turn, I feel like. So what happens if I... No, that doesn't make any sense, I think. Let's do this. Crack, then cast Ponder, and then maybe use Preordain to clear a potential bad one between the Ponder. Huh. I mean, that card next turn is probably going to be good. Okay, let's see that among other cards. Okay, well, the Daze is bad, so we can use... So you can go... What happens if I go Cutter, Daze, Bauble, play the Preordain, hold the Bauble. Maybe it's better the other way around. Play the Bauble, hold the Preordain. Does that make sense? The Bauble... Yeah, because if I... This is about mana usage. Let's see if I can nail this. Hang on to the Preordain. Because that gives me a card immediately. Okay, so what should I do here? I should stack... like this, like this, like this. Then bobble away that card. See what the opponent's working with. Wow, that's a good one. Now, I could cast a Preordain, but that's just 1 more damage this turn. I think it's way better to get a Monk next turn. Alright, let's try and get in for 7. The opponent chum blocks. That's not bad for me. That's solid. Can't do anything on the opponent's turn. That's what Voice of Victory does. Allow a good draw for the opponent. They keep surprising me with these. They play out the canyon, but they have another land. Where they could have just fetched planes here and played the game. A little bit weird, taking damage when you don't have to against the Bolt deck. Alright, here's Plateau. Plow and Chandler is going to resolve every time. Okay, Johnny's also good. And Plow the Chandler, makes sense. Attack with that card. Let's see what I can do. Lightning Bolt, that is an incredible draw. Holy smokes. Lightning Bolt is an incredible draw. Nothing short of incredible. What happens if I go Quarry Steel, Preordain, attack with the guys? Land Quarry. Preordain. Whip over there. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So this is my next next turn of Corey stealing, which is pretty sick. Those are my 2 next spells. So I should play like this, keep both, draw this. I think my opponent is going to block regardless. So let's just move to combat here. Am I bolting before damage? I think I am, yes. Also, this has trample. I just kept both cards. Okay, my opponent's actually going to do that play. So now I should kill the Ajani and then trample over. So I trample over for what? Bunch of damage here. The opponent's at 6. I draw a lightning bolt next turn, which also triggers the cutter. Yeah, it's up to you now, opponent. It's up to you now, buddy. Prowess damage really stacking up this game. Sand Scout. The opponent gets to tutor a land. That's cool. And they have something, they should fire it now. Okay, they have another one of those, sure. But now they can get a 1/1 out of the cracking the canyon from the scout, which is kind of cool. I'm getting another monk. That's just a 2/2, and that one is a 3/3 with the bolt. This one is a 3/3. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. It's getting down to the wire. Also, any land lets me recur lightning bolt from the graveyard, which is kind of sick. So I should think twice about whether to wasteland or not. Magic the Gathering. What a game. What a game. The opponent's thinking about how to play. They'll take a damage from the land if they cast something, or they can just get a 1/1 from the scout for free. Life total wise, that is. All right, this is crunch time. I have Bolt and Bauble lined up. That's enough to make a 3/3 otter. That's enough to have a 3/3 monk and a 2/2 monk. No attack. Is there anything about equipping here that I should think about? The thing is, the voice has 3 toughness, so I should kill it, right? All right, let's bolt the voice and then bauble. And then I really should consider what to do, if anything, with the equip. The opponent can sack it for mana here. They want to. Yep. I wonder what's in their hand. They let the prowess resolve, so maybe, yeah, I don't know. All right. Let's see what the opponent thinks of this. If I attack with everybody, they can chum block the big one and in theory take 5. Trade off. Yeah, this is not over. It's not over, but it's a little bit annoying for the opponent that I can draw land and then recur a bolt. Ooh, red. What is this? Pyroblast? Killing the otter, I guess. Oh, wow. So, wait a minute. Did my opponent just miss? Guess they missed a little bit there. So, yes, equip over there. And now let's have a look at the top of our opponent's deck. Hexing Squelcher. I'm not too scared about that card. I think I should attack them into bolt range here. Now they're going to block the 2/2 to kind of get rid of a card permanently. And then they're going to draw Hexing Squelcher. They have a redraw here, but I have access to recur Lightning Bolt, so I shouldn't wasteland here. Let's see if we can just draw the bolt here and finish it off. No bolt, but that's the land. The opponent has Hexing Squelcher and one more card. What can you do here, buddy? I'll recur Lightning Bolt. And you need something awesome. You need, like, Wasteland. Okay, here's the reanimation of the Pride, I think. We've seen that before. Okay, is there a Wasteland to go with it? There's not. Have I milled all my lands? I guess that's the next thing. All right, the GG's is in. Let's see if we actually get to finish it off. Looks like we does. We do. Okay, that's awesome. Oof. Great set of games here. I'm 3-0, so why not continue the run over on my membership channel. For every YouTube Baron, you have access to a lot of good stuff, including trophy runs, challenge wins, eyes on the prize with Eureka, metagame Monday after dark. So yeah, go over there and see how this league ends. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you back soon for some more sweet, sweet legacy action.